Good morning, student. Now I am going to discuss about a new chapter, that is your alkene. Alkene is an unsaturated hydrocarbon which having formula CnH2n. Here n equal to 2, 3, 4, 5 dot dot like this. If n equal to 2, then we can able to find out the alkene like C2H4. The name of this alkene is said to be ethene. If n equal to 3, then C3H6. The name of this compound is said to be propene. If n equal to 4, then we can write C4H8. That is said to be butene, like this. Alkenes are also known as olefins. The word olefins derived from the word olefiant. Olefiant means oil forming. The first members of alkene react with the chlorine or bromine to form an oily substance. So the alkenes are also called olefins. Again I will repeat, since the first members of alkene react with the chlorine or bromine to form an oily substance, so alkenes are also called olefins. Next I will discuss about the nomenclature. It is already discussed in the basic concept of organic chemistry. Next I will explain about the structure of ethene. At first I will discuss about the Lewis structure of ethene. This is the Lewis structure of ethene. Which can be drawn like this. Here the angle is 120 degree. The structure of ethene is generally trigonal planar structure. Next I will explain about the orbital structure of ethene. In ethene, the carbon undergoes sp2 hybridization. The atomic number of carbon is 6. The electron configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2px1, 2py1, 2pz0. Among 3 p orbitals, 2 p orbitals are used for the sp2 hybridization. Another p orbital remains as unhybridized condition. If I want to draw the diagram representation of an sp2 hybridized carbon, then I can draw like this. This is your one sp2 hybridized orbital. This is the second sp2 hybridized orbital. This is the third sp2 hybridized orbital. Look at that. Here an unhybridized p orbital is present like this. This is your unhybridized p orbital. Similarly, the other carbon atom having also this like structure. That means I can draw the sp2 hybridized orbitals of another carbon atom like this. This is your unhybridized orbital. This is the first carbon. This is the second carbon. This is your one sp2 hybridized orbital. This is the unhybridized orbital. This is your another sp2 hybrid orbital. This is the another sp2 hybrid orbital. We know that this is the structure of ethene. can draw the structure like this. This is the first carbon, this is the second carbon. Now one sp2 hybrid orbital of this carbon combined with the another sp2 hybrid orbital of another carbon. Look at that, here hidden overlap will be possible. This is your said to be this sigma 1. Here another sp2 hybrid orbital is present like this. I can able to show this sigma 1 here. Now it is bound to taken 1s orbital of hydrogen atom and it is subjected to hidden overlapping like this. This is the 1s orbital of hydrogen atom. Similarly, here one sp2 hybrid orbital undergoes hidden overlapping with the 1s orbital of hydrogen atom. This is your unhybridized orbital. Here another sp2 hybrid orbital undergoes hidden overlapping with 1s orbital of hydrogen atom. Here also another sp2 hybrid orbital undergoes hidden overlapping with the 1s orbital of another hydrogen atom. This is your unhybridized orbital of this carbon atom. This sigma 1 clearly explained by this diagram. This sigma 1 clearly explained by this diagram, and this sigma 1 clearly explained by this diagram. This sigma 1 clearly explained by this diagram. This sigma 1 clearly explained by this diagram. Now I want to show the pi bond. To explain this pi bond, it is bound to show this unhybrid orbital as sidewise overlapping. This is your said to be on hybridized orbitals. This is your sp2 orbital. This is also sp2 orbital. This is your sp2 orbital. This is also sp2 orbital. This is your said to be sp2 orbital. This is also sp2 orbital. This is your sigma. Your sigma 1. Here also sigma 1 is formed. Your pi 1 is formed. Your sigma 1. Here also sigma 1 is formed. This is your said to be orbital structure of ethene. Next I will explain about the types of alkene. Alkenes are classified into two types. One is your terminal alkene. Second is your internal alkene. In case of terminal alkene, the double bond is present at one of the terminal carbon atom. But in case of internal alkene, the double bond is not present at the terminal carbon atom. Take an example: CH3 bond CH2 bond CH2 bond CH double bond CH2. Similarly, take another example: CH3 bond CH double bond CH bond CH2 bond CH3. Look at that. In this organic compound, the double bond is present in between these two carbon atoms. Here this carbon atom is said to be the terminal carbon atom. That means here this double bond is present in the terminal carbon atom. So this compound is said to be terminal alkene. But if I will think about this compound, in this compound, look at that, here double bond is present in between these two carbon atoms. Among these two carbon atoms, no one is present at the terminal position. So these two carbon atoms are not said to be terminal carbon atom. That means here the double bond is not present at the terminal carbon atom. So this alkene is said to be internal alkene. Take another example: CH2 double bond CH bond CH2 bond CH3. Tell me, this belongs to which type of alkene? Look at that. In this organic compound, your double bond is present in between these two carbon atoms. Among these two carbon atoms, this carbon atom present at the terminal position. So here the double bond is present at the terminal carbon atom. So this alkene is said to be your terminal alkene. Like that, you can identify which alkene is said to be terminal alkene and and which alkene is said to be internal alkene. Alkenes are also classified into two types. One is symmetrical alkene, another is unsymmetrical alkene. Take an example: CH3 bond CH, double bond CH, bond CH3. Look at that, your double bond is present in between these two carbon atoms. If I will pass a plane over this double bond like this, then what will happen? The left part is equal to the right part, so this is said to be symmetrical alkene. Similarly, think about this alkene. If I will pass a plane like this, then what will happen? The left part is not equal to the right part, so this is said to be an unsymmetrical alkene. Similarly, take another example: CH3 bond CH, double bond CH, bond CH2, bond CH2, bond CH3. If I will pass a double bond here, then what will happen? The left part is not equal to the right part, so it is said to be an unsymmetrical alkene. That means if two parts are same, then it is said to be symmetrical alkene. If two parts are not same, then it is said to be unsymmetrical alkene. Look at that, this is said to be also an internal alkene and also said to be a symmetrical alkene. This is said to be an internal alkene and it is also said to be unsymmetrical alkene. This is said to be internal alkene and said to be unsymmetrical alkene. This is said to be unsymmetrical alkene, but it is said to be terminal alkene. This is also terminal alkene, but it is said to be unsymmetrical alkene. Next I will explain about the stability of alkene. Remember an important point: the internal alkene is more stable than terminal alkene. Take an example: CH3 bond CH, double bond CH, bond CH3. Take another example: CH2 double bond CH, bond CH2, bond CH3. This is said to be terminal alkene. This is said to be internal alkene. In case of internal alkene, look at that, there are two alkyl groups attached to this pi bond. But in case of terminal alkene, here only one alkyl group is present. Due to the presence of two alkyl groups, they always release the electron towards these double bonded carbon atoms. Here two sides are occupied by the alkyl group. As a result, from two sides the electrons are released towards these two carbon atoms. As a result, the electron density on these two carbon atoms goes on increases. More is the electron density, more is the overlapping. As a result, stronger will be the bond. So here internal alkene is more stable as compared to the terminal alkene. In case of terminal alkene, only right side is occupied by the alkyl group, so only from right side the electron releases to this carbon atom. As a result, your strong overlapping will not possible. That's why terminal alkene is less stable than internal alkene. Next point, remember, an alkyl substituted alkenes is more stable than an unsubstituted alkenes. Greater the alkyl substituted alkene, greater is the stability. Take examples. This is said to be ethene. Suppose I want to remove a hydrogen from ethene and I want to attach an alkyl group, then what will happen? This is the compound will be obtained. Suppose I want to take methyl group as an alkyl group, then I will write this compound. Then what will happen? In this case, no alkyl group is present, but in this case, one alkyl group is substituted. As a result, this is said to be an alkyl substituted what will happen? This is the compound will be obtained. Your 2 alkyl group is present. Your only 1 alkyl group is present. Your no alkyl group is present. Similarly, take another example. In this compound, there are 3 alkyl groups are present. Take another example. In this case, 4 alkyl groups are present. Now I am going to discuss about the stability of these alkenes. Look at that, your no alkyl group is present, your 1 alkyl group is present, your 2 alkyl group is present, your 3 alkyl group is present, your 4 alkyl group is present. We know that more is the alkyl substituted alkene, more is the stability. As a result, I can write the order like this. This compound is less stable, this compound is less stable than this compound is less stable from this compound is less stable from this compound. Remember another important point, trans alkene is more stable than cis alkene. Suppose take an example, C11C, CH3, your CH3 is present, your hydrogen is present. This is your said to be trans alkene. Suppose take another example related to the cis isomer. This is your said to be cis isomer. Look at that. In case of trans isomer, the distance between 2 alkyl group is more as compared to the distance between to this alkyl group in case of cis isomer. So your repulsion is less as compared to cis isomer. So trans isomer is more stable than cis isomer. Next I will explain about the method of preparation of alkene. At first I will discuss about the dehydration of alcohol. The word dehydration means loss of water molecule. There are 3 types of alcohol such as 1-degree alcohol, 2-degree alcohol and 3-degree alcohol. This is your said to be 1-degree alcohol. Suppose take a secondary alcohol like this. This is your said to be secondary alcohol. Similarly, take an example of tertiary alcohol. This is an example of tertiary alcohol. When 1-degree alcohol undergoes dehydration by the help of concentrated H2SO4 at 443 Kelvin, then alkene is formed. Dehydration means loss of water molecule. For the water molecule, we need 1 hydrogen and 1 OH. Look at that, your hydrogen atom is present, your OH group is present. Remove these 2 parts. As a result, water will be removed as byproduct. Look at that. This is the remaining part. Your 1 bond is empty, another bond is empty. This can be stabilized by giving a double bond in between these 2 carbon atoms. Look at that. This is your alkene, which is formed by the dehydration of alcohol. The name of this compound is said to be ethene. The name of this compound is said to be ethyl alcohol. So what will be the statement for this reaction? Alkenes are prepared from monohydric alcohol by heating with the sulfuric acid or phosphoric acid. This reaction is called dehydration of alcohol. Remember one important point, monohydric alcohol means the alcohol which contains only 1 OH group is called monohydric alcohol. If an organic compound contains 2 OH group, then that is said to be dihydric alcohol. Like that, for trihydric alcohol, there are 3 OH group are present. Like that, you can also think about the tetrahydric alcohol, pentahydric alcohol, like this. This is your said to be 2-degree alcohol. The name of this compound is said to be propan 2OL. When propan 2OL is subjected to reaction with the 60% H2SO4 at 100 degrees centigrade, then what will happen? There is a loss of water molecule takes place, which act as a byproduct. Look at that. For water molecule, we need one hydrogen and one OH. Your hydrogen atom is present, your OH group is present, your also hydrogen atom is present. As your choice for water molecule, you can take this hydrogen or this hydrogen. Among these two hydrogen, you can take any hydrogen and also take this OH group for the formation of water molecule. Suppose I want to take this hydrogen and this OH, then it is bound to put a double bond here. If I will take this hydrogen and this OH, then it is bound to put a double bond here. Suppose I want to remove this hydrogen and this OH, then what will happen? Look at that. CH2 bond CH bond CH3. Look at that. Here one bond will empty, here another bond will empty. This can be stabilized by putting a double bond like this. Now water molecule is removed as the byproduct. The name of this compound is said to be propene. Similarly, look at that. This is an example of 3-degree alcohol. The name of this alcohol is said to be 2-methyl propan 2OL. If 2-methyl propan 2OL is subjected to reaction with the 20% H2SO4 and at a temperature 80 to 90 degrees centigrade, then what will happen? There is loss of water molecule takes place. There are 3 options for loss of hydrogen atom. You can take this hydrogen, also you can take this hydrogen, and also you can take this hydrogen. If I will take this hydrogen and this OH, then it is bound to put a double bond here. If I will take this hydrogen and this OH, then it is bound to put a double bond here. If I will take this hydrogen and this OH, then it is bound to put a double bond here. Suppose I want to take this hydrogen and this OH, then the product will be is written like this: CH3 bond C, CH3 double bond CH2. Here water molecule is removed as a byproduct. The name of this organic compound is said to be 2-methyl pro-1-diene. Look at that. In case of 1-degree alcohol, we need concentrated H2SO4 and high temperature. But in case of 2-degree alcohol, we need less concentrated H2SO4 as compared to the H2SO4 used in 1-degree alcohol. In this case also we need less temperature as compared to the temperature in 1-degree alcohol. Similarly, in case of 3-degree alcohol, the temperature is very low and the concentration is less as compared to the H2SO4 used in other alcohol. From this data, it is clear that the dehydration in case of 3-degree alcohol is easier as compared to 2-degree alcohol and 1-degree alcohol. I can write like this: the order of ease of dehydration of alcohol is 3-degree alcohol greater than 2-degree alcohol greater than 1-degree alcohol. Suppose I will take another example: CH3 bond CH bond H bond CH bond OH bond CH2 bond H. Suppose this compound subjected to reaction with the concentrated H2SO4, then what will happen? Dehydration takes place. That means there is loss of water molecule. For the water molecule, we generally need one H, one OH. To get that, your hydrogen atom is present. Here also hydrogen atom is present. If I will remove this hydrogen and this OH, then what will happen? This product will be found. That is your CH3 bond CH, double bond CH, bond CH3. Suppose I want to remove this hydrogen and this OH, then I can able to form this compound. The compound is CH3 bond CH2 bond CH, double bond CH2. Look at that. This is an example of internal alkene. The name of this compound is said to be but-2-ene. This is an example of terminal alkene. The name of this compound is said to be but-1-ene. We know that internal alkene is more stable than terminal alkene. That's why but-2-ene is more stable than but-1-ene. So in this type of reaction, this is your said to be major product and this is your said to be minor product. Always remember an important point: the compound which is having more stable is generally considered as the major product. On the other hand, the compound which is having less stable is generally considered as minor product. This can be clearly explained by the help of Sejdic rule. According to Sejdic rule, always the most alkali substituted alkene is formed as the major product during the dehydration of alcohol or dehydrohalogenation of alkyl halide, because more substituted alkenes are more stable. The Sejdic rule also applicable in the dehydrohalogenation of alkyl halide. I will explain the Sejdic rule in dehydrohalogenation of alkyl halide. Next I will explain about the dehydrohalogenation of alkyl halide. What is the meaning of dehydrohalogenation? Dehydrohalogenation means loss of hydrogen atom and halogen atom. Suppose take an example. This is your said to be ethyl chloride. This is the structure of ethyl chloride. When ethyl chloride is subjected to reaction with the alcoholic OH, then what will happen? There is loss of hydrogen atom and chlorine atom. That means your HCl is formed. Again the HCl react with the OH, gives the HCl plus water. So finally I can write the product like this: CH2 double bond CH2, where the byproduct is HCl, another is your water. The name of this reactant is said to be ethyl chloride. The name of this product is said to be ethene. Similarly, take another example: CH3 CH bond Cl bond CH2 bond H. The name of this reactant is said to be 2-chloropropane. When 2-chloropropane is subjected to reaction with the alcoholic OH, then what will happen? There is also loss of HCl molecule, and the HCl molecule again react with the KOH, gives the KCl and water. So I can write the product like this: CH3 bond CH double bond CH2, and the byproducts are KCl plus water. Similarly, take another example: CH3 bond CH bond H bond CH bond Cl bond CH2 bond H. The of this reactant is said to be 2-chlorobutane. When 2-chlorobutane is subjected to reaction with the alkali KOH, then HCl molecule is formed. The HCl molecule again react with the KOH, gives HCl and water molecule. By applying Secchi rule, we can write two types of product. One is CH3 bond CH double bond CH bond CH3. Another is CH3 bond CH2 bond CH double bond CH2. By applying the Secchi rule, this is your major product because this is most alkali substituted alkene. This is your said to be minor product. Here the byproducts are HCl and another is water. Finally, I can give a statement like this: when an alkyl halide is heated with an alkali solution of sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide, then a molecule of alkene is formed. Remember some important points: the order of dehydrohalogenation of alkyl halide is 3-degree alkyl halide greater than 2-degree alkyl halide greater than 1-degree alkyl halide. Remember also another important point: the order of reactivity of alkali KOH towards alkyl halide is alkyl iodide greater than alkyl bromide greater than alkyl chloride. Next I will explain about the dehalogenation of vicinal dihalide. What is the meaning of dehalogenation? Dehalogenation means there is loss of halogen atoms. Here an important word is given, that is a vicinal dihalide. What is vicinal dihalide? Vicinal dihalides are the compounds having two halogen atoms on the adjacent carbon atoms. There is also another term, that is a geminal dihalide. Geminal dihalides are the compounds which having two halogen atoms on the same carbon atom. Geminal dihalide is also called gem dihalide. On the other hand, vicinal dihalide is also called vis dihalide. Take an example of geminal dihalide: CH3 bond C bond Cl bond Cl bond CH3. Look at that. This is an example of dihalide compounds. In this compound, two chlorine atoms are present, and the two chlorine atoms are attached to a single carbon atom. So this is said to be geminal dihalide. Take another example: CH2 bond Cl bond CH2 bond Cl. Look at that. It is an example of dihalide in which two chlorine atoms are attached to the adjacent carbon atoms. The name of this compound is said to be 1,2-dichloroethane. When 1,2-dichloroethane is subjected to reaction with the zinc dust in the presence of ethyl alcohol, then what will happen? There is removal of zinc chloride molecule as a byproduct, and the remaining part is CH2 bond CH2. Look at that. In this carbon, one bond is empty. Also in this carbon, one bond is empty. This can be possible by giving a double bond also considered as Pohls electrolysis. This method is generally considered as the preparation of alkene by Pohls electrolysis. The structure of succinic acid is written like this. This is the structure of succinic acid. Then the structure of potassium succinate is drawn like this. Just remove the hydrogen atom and attach the potassium atom. Then we can able to draw the structure of potassium succinate. This is your said to be potassium succinate. Now take potassium succinate and it is subjected to electrolysis. Then what will happen? At first there is loss of 2 molecules of potassium hydroxide like this. Here one carbon dioxide molecule is removed. Here also one carbon dioxide molecule is removed. Here hydrogen gas is removed. This is the remaining part. I can write the remaining part like this. The name of this compound is said to be ethene. Here the byproducts are hydrogen gas, carbon dioxide, potassium hydroxide like this. The name of this salt is said to be potassium succinate. I can give a statement like this. The electrolysis of sodium or potassium salt of saturated dicarboxylic acid in aqueous medium gives a alkene. Next I will explain about the partial reduction of alkyne. At first I will discuss about the partial reduction of alkyne by Lindlar's catalyst. Lindlar's catalyst is nothing but it is a palladium catalyst poisoned with a trace amount of lead and quinoline that reduces its activity such that it can only reduces the alkyne not to alkene. That means when an alkyne is subjected to reaction with the Lindlar's catalyst, then the alkyne undergoes reduction up to alkene. Then the alkene does not undergo further reduction by the help of Lindlar's catalyst. Take an example. This is your CH3 bond C triple bond C bond CH3. The name of this compound is said to be but-2-ene. When it is subjected to reaction with the hydrogen in the presence of Lindlar's catalyst, here I can write palladium plus CaCO3, or you can take also barium sulfate. Here also lead carbonate, sulfur or quinoline is taken. Then what will happen? This alkyne undergoes reduction to form a cis isomer of alkene. The name of this organic compound is said to be but-2-ene. It belongs to the cis isomer. So the name of this organic compound is cis but-2-ene. Similarly, take another example. Grease reduction reaction. Grease reduction reaction is generally takes place in the presence of sodium and liquid NH3. When but-2-ene is subjected to reaction with the sodium in the presence of liquid NH3, then trans but-2-ene is formed. I can write the structure like this. This is the